Bryant coach Chris Merritt. The team won 47-24 at Charleston Southern this past weekend. One of four teams that now just one loss in conference play, just right behind SEMO this week. Gardner Webb on the schedule, who is coming off a big win. So, Coach, some thoughts on your team, and we'll go to some questions.
Sure. No, I think just typical story this year. Win one, lose one, win one, lose one. Got to put them back to back on the W's. I felt that our guys bounced back after a tough loss to Eastern Illinois, and they played very strong. Hope is that we're peaking at the right time. It's always fun to play in November when the games are important. That's what our goal is, and we've got to treat this as if we're already in the playoffs, because at this point, that's what it is.
Perfect. Thanks, Coach. We're going to start with Jacob. He covers Gardner Webb, and he is on with us. Jacob, go ahead with your questions for Coach.
Coach, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. Last year, it was a classic shootout between these two down in Bowling Springs. This year, Gardner Webb's coming up to Rhode Island. Just tell me a little bit about what you expect from the game and what some of your keys are going into Saturday.
Well, I think at this point in the season, I think it's going to come down to those 3 or 4 plays in the ball game that's going to make the deciding factor, I guess. So, I think both teams have kind of lived off of turnovers. Very similar. Our records are the same. Our conference records are the same. Trey is. I've become a fan of Trey Lamb. I think he's a very good coach. I think it comes through on film with his team. I think he's done a great job there. We know we have our hands full. I know they played a very tough out of conference opponent, beating Eastern Kentucky, but they are as advertised. They're a playoff team from last year. They expect to play well in November, and hopefully we can match that level.
All right, Coach. Thank you. That's all I need.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to Nick next. Go ahead, Nick.
Thank you, Kyle. Hello, Coach. How are you?
How's up, Nick?
How you doing? What's going on? Good. Well, you just talked about it, just sort of the up and down nature of your season so far. What is it that you think is leading to that? And are you seeing that on the practice field, that sort of thing? Because when you have your ups, it seems like you really have your ups.
Well, if I knew the answer to that, Nick, I probably would be a lot richer than what I am right now. You look at we've been beaten twice this year by UNLV and Rhode Island. Those are decisive wins. The other 2 wins or other 2 losses came at the hands of an overtime 1-point loss, as well as a final second loss to Brown. So, we're that close to being one way or the other. On the other hand, we could look at it. We've won a game in overtime, and it could swing both ways. We're just for us, I think it's key at this point in the season. I think last week was probably the best complete game that we've played in all 3 phases. Like I said, I hope we're peaking at the right time. I hope our guys are, it's clicking for them. It's important. I mean, we looked at the schedule before the season and thought, boy, if November football is important, we have 2 of the top teams in our conference at home in November. Always nice to invite people from out of state to come on up to the Rhode Island State and for a bowl of clam chowder, and just hope it's wicked cold, So it's one of those things that this is what we play for and what we prepare for, and hopefully we can get it done.
Yeah, the cold thing's definitely coming, according to the meteorologist. So hopefully that'll help you. With Zevi, obviously you're talking about that complete game last week. He had a fabulous game. Where do you think he has maybe shown the most improvement this season, or maybe what's impressed you the most about him?
Well, I think he's much more conscious. He doesn't do that Brett Favre thing where he has to throw that ball between 3 defenders in that 12-inch by 12-inch window like he did last year. He kept trying to win games last year, and I give the kid credit. He's one heck of a competitor. I can tell you right now that I've been doing this for 30 years, and I haven't run past anybody more competitive than this kid and his desire to win. So last week, he did a very good job of taking care of the football. I think he's done a good job this year overall taking care of the football. His interception last week came at as a shot play. Safety made a great play on a deep ball, good as a punt. Ball ended up being inside the 5-yard line. I think he's just, I enjoy the pregame conversations with each opponent's head coach. Hey, that 4 is pretty special. I'm like, I know he makes me look like a really good coach sometimes. And Zevi is, as advertised, as long as he stays on track, we stay on track.
And then lastly, for me, just the fact that you are, right in the mix here, in terms of the top of the conference and, some meaningful games coming up here. Just how exciting is it for you guys to be able to prepare for, what are going to be some really key games and some competitive games, and obviously with a big goal in mind.
Oh yeah. It's fun. It's important to our players as well as our coaches. It was 18 months ago, we were a 43 scholarship football team in the NEC, and here we are 2 seasons later, trying to make those strides and become relevant. And, this is something that, I never think it's too lofty to talk about conference championships, because I think unless we're talking about it, that's our goal, what are we doing? This is our goal. And just being in the mix for it, we're not content with just being in the mix for it. It's going to be a tough ball game. These next 3 are going to be tough ball games. But if we're going to make our mark, we're going to make our shot. Now's the time.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it as always.
Coach, what about Gardner-Webb's quarterback, the freshman he's been in? They're 2-1 since he took over. What have you seen from him?
No, he's a good athlete. Now he's somebody that can hurt you with his feet as well as with his arm. I think they've had a distinct scoring difference since he's kind of taken over. They're putting more points on the board. That's one of the things that Trey has done, Coach Lamb has done with that position. I think they were searching for that it factor for him, and I think for them it seems like they found him here the last couple of weeks. So we know we have our hands full, no doubt about it. But he's a difference maker for them on offense.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Best of luck this weekend, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All righty. Take care, guys.